even if the earth and heaven shake, enduring with faith and love, to lift our hands and welcome the returning Jesus. He awakens us with the hope.
Jesus looks down at Jerusalem in the red sunset. Peter asks, "Lord, when is the end?" Jesus feels sorrow, seeing a future filled with cold hearts and disbelief. Under dark clouds, disciples are terrified. Jesus describes wars and conflict. The devil is a deceiving spirit. Unless you wake and pray, you will be swept away by the waves of delusion. Earthquakes and plagues shake the earth. Amidst the trembling people, Jesus speaks firmly. This is not the end, but the final opportunity to preach the gospel. A false temple stands in Jerusalem. People are forced to take a mark on their hand or forehead. Parents agonize over their hungry children. Families must hold on to each other with true faith. The sun and moon fade, stars shake. A brilliant light flashes from east to west. Jesus descends on the clouds, tearing the sky. Fear turns into ecstasy. An archangel's trumpet blasts. "My sheep, come to me!" Jesus' holy command reaches every ear as a tender name. The dead rise, and the living soar above the clouds. On a dazzling Milky Way and cloud carpet, Jesus embraces each person from the ends of the earth. In his gaze of, "Well done," all scars of tribulation melt away. A grand feast decorated with heavenly light. Jesus is the groom, and the saints are pure brides. "Peter, let us enjoy my Father's banquet," his laughter echoes through heaven. The group descends to the scarred earth. The moment Jesus' feet touch the ground, flowers bloom in the harsh wilderness. Before the throne of glory, Jesus says to those who gave water and clothes to the little ones, "What you did for the least of these, you did for me." Their ordinary lives are revealed as holy devotion. Predators and children play together. Mountains are lowered, valleys filled. The earth becomes a garden. The 1,000-year life Adam lost begins again. The saints rule as kings and priests. At the end of the millennium, Satan is briefly released. The proud gather to resist, but fire from heaven consumes evil instantly. Evil is cast into eternal darkness. The old heaven and earth vanish in fire, and the indescribable New Jerusalem appears. No more labor for food. The saints live freely in God's bosom, roaming the universe. Back at the present Mount of Olives, Jesus looks at his disciples. "I came to serve. Love and serve one another. Remember, it is more blessed to give than to receive." The sun rises behind him as he faces the path of the cross.
Have you ever wondered what the end of the world will truly be like? Let's journey back to ancient Jerusalem, where a story of epic proportions unfolds. Before the gleaming temple, a man with kindness in his eyes and hardship etched on his face, Jesus, spoke. He said, "This magnificent structure you see will soon vanish like smoke. For God's kingdom is built not with swords, but with love." Later, on the Mount of Olives, as the sun set over the city, Peter asked him, "Lord, when will the end come?" A wave of sorrow crossed Jesus' face as he foresaw a future filled with apathy and disbelief. He described a time of chaos. Nations would rise against nations, and dark clouds of deception would gather. The enemy is the spirit of lies. He warned, if you don't stay alert and pray, you too will be swept away by the tide of confusion. He spoke of nature itself, crying out with earthquakes and plagues. But this is not the end, he insisted. It is the final opportunity to spread the good news. The darkness would deepen. A false temple would rise, and people would be forced to take a mark on their hand or forehead. Even families would be tested by hunger. But then, in the darkest hour, the sky would crack open. The sun and moon would go dark, and a brilliant light, like lightning, would flash from east to west. Jesus would descend on the clouds, turning fear into absolute joy. An archangel's trumpet would sound, and Jesus' voice, holy yet personal, would call out, "My sheep, come to me." The dead in Christ would rise, and the living would be lifted into the air. Above the stars, on a carpet of clouds, Jesus would embrace each one, his eyes saying, "You've endured so much." In that moment, every scar of suffering would melt away. This reunion would lead to a great celebration, the wedding feast of the Lamb, where joy knows no bounds. Then, they would return to a transformed earth. At Jesus' touch, wastelands would bloom. This would usher in 1,000 years of peace, a restored Eden where predators and children play together. After a final, decisive judgment, the old world would pass away, and a new heaven and a new earth would appear in eternal home. Back on the Mount of Olives, Jesus looked at his disciples with profound love. "I came to serve," he said. "You must also love and serve one another. Remember, it is more blessed to give than to receive." As he walked toward his destiny on the cross, a new dawn began to break. Thank you for watching.